Thanksgiving break is just around the corner. Before leaving to spend time with your families, there's just a couple things you need to remember to do.
Bills, budgeting, and safety, we have a look at one event that taught students valuable skills when they first have their apartment.
And whether you like it or not, snow is falling in Northwest Indiana. We'll tell you how much to expect coming up.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Jessica Burns.
And I'm Heather Bricka.
We have several breaking news stories this afternoon, starting with an email sent out from Valparaiso University Police. The email stated that at approximately 6:40 this morning, a student reported that an unknown subject was in a room in Brant Hall. The subject was between 5'6" and 6 feet tall and was dressed in a black hoodie and possibly black sweatpants. The subject fled from the scene. The incident is under investigation. Anyone with any information is asked to contact VUTV.
Also, superhero fans around the world are mourning the death of Marvel Comics visionary Stan Lee. An attorney for his daughter says Lee in Los Angeles hospital Monday morning after being taken by ambulance from his home. Lee helped usher in a new era of superhero storytelling. He created and helped create a string of iconic characters including Spider-Man, the Hulk, the X-Men, Iron Man, and Thor. He became Marvel's editorial director and publisher in 1972. In subsequent years, movies in the Marvel Universe gained worldwide popularity and became multi-billion-dollar success. Lee said he used to be embarrassed about being a comic book writer, but realized that entertainment is one of the most important ways to help people. Fast approaching, it's easy to get lost in the idea of being at home with friends and family. Before you leave for campus, remember the following closing procedure. Starting this week, resident assistants will be posting a closing to-do list on every room door in residence hall. Upon completing the tasks, residents are asked to sign their names and leave the form on the door until they return back from break. Resident halls will close Saturday, November 17th at noon. This means that all residents need to be out of the building unless they've been approved for break housing. You can apply for break housing through the Housing Self-Service on DataVU, but there is $50 late fee reasons you'd likely be approved for break housing if you're an international student, if you lived in over a 500-mile radius, or you are a seasonal athlete, if you're a student teacher, or if you have an internship through Valparaiso University. Students are not automatically eligible for break housing if they hold an on-campus job or off-campus job that is not directly associated with credit-bearing academic program. If students don't meet the requirements above for break housing, students can submit a request under the other category. If approved for break housing for non-university related reasons, students are charged $25 per night fee for utilizing university break housing. The resident halls will open on Sunday, November 25th at noon.
This past Thursday, an Adulting 101 event covering finances, health, volunteerism, and carbon monoxide safety was hosted by the LOK Wishing Tree Foundation and First Source Bank. We sent VUTV's Andrew Struckman out to learn more about the event.
The founder of the organization, her name is Dot Kessling. She lost her daughter, Lindsay O'Brien Kessling. That is the LOK in the LOK Wishing Tree Foundation. She was just 22 years old. It's in Dot's heart to make sure that that doesn't happen. To the best of her ability, she wants to protect everybody from carbon monoxide, also known as the silent killer. It's called that because it's invisible. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it, you can't hear it.
Your body can handle about 9 teaspoons of sugar per day. On average in the US, we are eating 22 to 32 teaspoons of sugar per day.
Sometimes those things are beyond our means, and credit cards is not the way to solve that problem.
So when it comes to thinking about the ways that you, as an adult, want to be part of the community that you find yourself in post-Valpo, think about the things that interest you most, be intentional about how you spend your time, and pick at least one thing where you can really invest. Is that it's really important to have a piece of your identity that is not wrapped up in your work. Because at the end of the day, like we contain multitudes. There should be things that animate you and animate your life outside of what you do from 9 to 5.
But we want to especially make a big noise about the silent killer in Indiana, because Indiana is one of just 4 states at this point that has no statewide legislation protecting you or anybody from carbon monoxide. So that means your landlord is not required to have a CO alarm in your apartment. If you're on a sports team and you travel, just show of hands who does that, or even just travel anywhere. When you go to a hotel in Indiana, they are not required to have a carbon monoxide alarm in your room. So we really want you to be empowered to understand, how to protect yourself. The good news, all right, that's all the scary part, right? But the good news is, with just a $20, $25 alarm, you can protect yourself.
A group of students from the Communications Department senior capstone class is teaming up with Front Porch Music, a local music store, in order to increase campus presence and awareness. They're holding an open mic night for students on Thursday, November 15th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $4 per person and $3 for performers. Valpo students can also get a free drink with their student ID. Reject the Knoll, a band made up of Valpo professors, will also be in attendance. Front Porch Music will be holding another open mic night in December, and they hope that the student event will encourage more Valpo students to attend. Their address in 505 Lincoln Way in Valparaiso, Indiana.
Thanksgiving break is just around the corner, and last week we wanted to know when Christmas time starts for you. 73% said after Thanksgiving, and 27% said after Halloween. This week we'd like to know what type of pie is your favorite to eat on Thanksgiving. Head on over to our Twitter after the broadcast to cast your vote. The results will be announced when we return from break. Now it's been feeling pretty chilly outside. We're already seeing some snowflakes falling. So we have meteorologist Blake Harms in the studio today. So Blake, how long is this wintry weather going to last?
Well, I can tell you it's officially begun the winter season. And Jessica, I know you don't like Christmas time, but it is feeling like it right now. Snow falling across northwest Indiana, in fact, across the whole region. Snow showers extending all the way down into portions of far eastern Missouri. We'll see that light snow continue overnight tonight. As we look at your headlines to watch here, cold temperatures are here to stay. Wind chills in the teens come tomorrow morning, continuing for the next 24 to 48 hours. Light snow continues this evening before tapering off overnight, and we'll see some periodic snow chances. We'll detail all of this and more coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Blake. Wish you could take that snow out of the forecast. Wildfires raging through California have killed many and left survivors without a home. We have an update on the conditions out west.
And the elections are done and over, but what does that mean for the Midwest? We have more on local elections.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
3 incredibly destructive wildfires continue to burn across California, and winds are expected to pick up today, fueling fires that have already killed more than 20 people and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. Camila Bernal is in Malibu, California with this report.
This is an oceanfront neighborhood in Malibu, California, and like you see behind me, much of it completely destroyed. Homes, cars reduced down to ashes, and there is no good news. The winds are expected to pick back up again, and in the words of the Ventura County Fire Chief, Mother Nature is turning her fan back on.
You know, we thought we were ready. We'd hosed everything down, but when it came over this ridge right here behind us, it was a 100-foot wall of flames.
3 major California wildfires have killed more than 20 people, destroyed thousands of homes, and forced more than 250,000 people from their homes across the state. And officials say Sunday's strong winds could make an already dangerous fire situation even worse. In Southern California, the Woolsey and Hill fires have burned almost 90,000 acres.
These winds will be as severe, if not more severe, than we saw in the last few days.
And in Northern California, the Camp Fire has become the most destructive and the 3rd deadliest in the state's modern history. It's burned more than 100,000 acres and destroyed more than 6,000 homes. Officials warn residents in both Northern and Southern California to continue to stay alert and be prepared to evacuate.
Listen for evacuations, and please don't let your guard down. The need for evacuations is still present.
But for those who have lost their homes, a determination to move forward.
You got to be strong, you know. We rebuild. This is where we live.
And firefighters made some progress yesterday as those winds died down, but that small window of opportunity is closing, and that is part of the reason why many are still under evacuation orders and why authorities are telling neighbors here to continue to be vigilant. Reporting in Malibu, California, I'm Camila Bernal. Now back to you.
Election Day shook the nation, especially close to home. In the state of Indiana, Republican Mike Braun beat out Democrat Joe Donnelly for the Senate seat. Hoosier majority also voted in favor of balanced budgets for government pensions. In Michigan, voters said yes to redrawing district lines and recreational use of marijuana. Another proposal will allow Michigan drivers to automatically register to vote upon receiving a license. Wisconsin also came forward with majority interest in legalizing both the medical and recreational use of marijuana. However, no law or referendum was passed. Chicago voted yes to all proposals on the ballot, including banning plastic straws and property tax exemptions. Cook County approved wage and sick time reform, while other districts voted in opposition of tax implementations. Nationally, Republicans still have control of the Senate and Democrats took the House.
Some residents of Las Vegas turned out Friday night to hold a vigil to remember the lives lost this week in Thousand Oaks, California. It was Wednesday night. A gunman burst into a nightclub and killed 12 people. Thousand Oaks and Las Vegas are now linked by a mass shooting tragedy. The Vegas community itself continues to heal following the attack on a music festival in October of 2017. That night, gunman Stephen Paddock opened fire from a hotel window, killing 58 people and injuring hundreds more. Those at Friday's vigil gathered to show solidarity with victims and those affected in the Thousand Oaks tragedy. Barbara Godrund, who survived the Vegas attack, described what she felt when she heard the news from California.
I was sleeping and my TV was still on, and I actually thought I was dreaming when I heard it on the TV. It actually woke me up and I was just shocked. It was like, I actually got up out of bed to make sure I was awake, and it was just shocking. I mean, what's going on, you know?
More than 6,000 migrants traveling in a caravan heading towards the United States left a temporary shelter at a stadium in Mexico City on Saturday, according to state-run Mexican news agency Notimex. The group is on its way to Querétaro to meet up with other migrants. The plan from there is to head toward Tijuana, a city close to the U.S. border. It will likely take more than 2 weeks before the caravan reaches the border. CNN's Leia Santiago spoke with Jose Maria Garcia Lara, who ran the migrant shelter Juventud 2000 in Tijuana on Friday. It is one of the shelters where migrants who traveled in a different caravan in April stayed. Garcia Lara said the shelters in the area are 80% full and that they are trying to work with local government officials to find a place where the caravan can camp out when more migrants arrive.
After 10 years out of the public eye, the Spice Girls are reuniting for a tour next year. But without Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham, the surprise announcement was released through social media that the most successful all-girls pop band ever will perform on 6 states in June in the UK. They are remembered for capturing the spirit of the 90s and for introducing the brand of girl power that inspired young girls to assert their own identity. Each performer will earn millions of dollars for the tour, which could increase if the tour is extended for more dates and even other countries.
They've been missing in action for 6 years, but they're back. The Spice Girls, showing that girl power has staying power. With a surprise announcement, they're returning for a reunion tour next year, minus Posh Spice.
Come and sit down, the Spice Girls are here!
It came as a shock through social media for Spice Girls fans around the world.
They're all going to be in black tuxedos.
Melanie.
Now, ask yourself, is that a black tuxedo?
Melanie.
While teasing fans, there may be more surprises.
Do you know what? We just thought, let's just take things slowly.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Let's see if Mel B behaves herself.
And Spice Girl fans also waiting to see if Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham, has a change of heart.
Is Victoria doing the tour, though?
No, she's not in it, is she?
Beckham announcing by Instagram she won't be there for the reunion, which she says will be amazing and fantastic. For 6 years, the Spice Girls caught the spirit of the late 90s, dominating the pop world. They were identified with the brand of Cool Britannia and their message of girl power.
They were the ones that were teaching younger girls. It might have been a bit of a simple message, girl power, but we weren't hearing it before. And every girl grew up being like, yeah, I can do whatever I want.
A generation of girls remember growing up with the Spice Girls.
Probably being pushed around in a pushchair with a lollipop singing.
And some were inspired to dream big, like this young fan growing up to show her own girl power, Adele. Tell me the significance of this staircase.
It's the wannabe staircase.
Alan Smith Allison is a Spice Girls superfan and one of the biggest collectors of Spice Girls memorabilia.
So you've got babies there and I've got gingers here, so you can see it's a little bit different with straps on it, but it's a different colour.
I mean, it's not an everyday outfit, I'd say. With an exhibit set to open in London featuring thousands of Spice Girls memorabilia.
There is literally hundreds and thousands of collectors around the world.
But the real collectibles for Spice Girl fans might just be the memories of their favourite songs.
Have some fun.
Do 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 do. Anna Stewart, CNN, London.
Coming up after the break, Blake Harms will have your full forecast.
Plus, we'll take a look at this past week Crusader sports. Stick with us.
While the snowflakes are flying in northwest Indiana, as I mentioned earlier, light snow partaking the whole area here. This system extends all the way from portions of Michigan down through parts of Missouri, even Arkansas picking up on some snow here. Most of it is light, perhaps briefly moderate, but more importantly, the ground temperatures will be preventing much in the way of accumulation. Right now it is chilly, 35 degrees in Valparaiso, 34 in Gary, 30 over at O'Hare. We're in the 20s once you get out towards Rockford, and those temperatures are only going to go down as we head through the overnight hours tonight. Our temperatures are driven by this cold air mass that's pushing its way down, 10 degrees in Fargo right now. We won't get that cold, but the low temperatures the next few days could be below 20 degrees. As we head through our future radar here, you'll see most of this light, perhaps briefly moderate snow pushing its way through. By about 10 o'clock tonight, the back edge should be in Lake County. As we head through the evening, we'll be done, but a lake effect band will set up here in parts of Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph County in Indiana, and that is what will fuel a few more inches of accumulation off to the northwest. And as we head through the afternoon, though, you'll notice we'll clear of the clouds, which is something we haven't seen in quite some time. Been an awfully cloudy month here. So the sun will make an appearance here in the afternoon, and that will lead the way for a cold yet somewhat nice day. As for accumulation, we'll get about an inch of snowfall, and that's snow accumulation. Again, that ground is too warm for little, if any, accumulation here as we head through the overnight hours. And then as we head through the morning commute, that band will drop a few more inches there in portions of Van Buren, Berrien County. That's where they have a winter weather advisory through the overnight hours tonight. As we head through, the other big story here is your wind chills. As we head through the future here, getting down to, by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, 15 degrees. It won't get much better than that throughout the day. Notice we're still at 16 degrees by the time you're on your way home, and it'll continue to stay steady in those teens. Good news is, as we head into the day on Wednesday, we'll finally begin to warm back up into the 20s, which is far below average for this time of year. 24 degrees your low tonight. Brisk northwest winds is what will be knocking down our wind chill. For a few snow flurries, mainly in the evening hours, perhaps lingering into the overnight. For tomorrow, some snow showers. It won't be this heavy. Maybe a flurry or two early on in the morning. The bigger story is that cold. As we head through the 7-day forecast, tomorrow will be our coldest of the 7. We'll get up to the 40s briefly next Thursday and Friday, getting back down in the 30s after that. In the terms of snow flurries, we do have a few more chances throughout the rest of the week. Not looking at any major accumulation, but just to give you a sense of how much colder we are than average. Our average high this time of year is 51, average low 34.
That's so cold. That's so cold. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm so happy for the snow, though.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Blake. Coming up after the break, we'll have a look at this past week's Crusader Sports. Stick with us.
VUTV, your campus, your story.
Another busy week for your Valparaiso Crusader athletics. Let's recap on the week's action. The Valparaiso men's soccer said farewell to 11 accomplished seniors after a 2-1 overtime defeat against Drake in the first round of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. The lone Valpo goal came from senior Tyler Carrillo. Thank you, seniors, for all of your hard work. Sticking with the celebration of senior athletics here at VU, Valparaiso football showed their appreciation for their seniors on Saturday night. The team ended their home game season at Brownfield on Saturday with a 48-30 win over Jacksonville. Valparaiso celebrated their 29 seniors in the second to last game of the 2018 season. The Crusaders led for the entirety of the game, which was a sure win from the beginning. Lead scorers for Valpo were Griffin Norberg and Elias Early, each scoring 2 touchdowns for the Crusaders. The team is slated to play their last game of the season at Stetson on November 16th at noon. The volleyball team fell to MVC foe Bradley Friday night at the Arc. 3-2, senior Allison Ketchum moved into the program's all-time top 10 for career kills during the third set. Another 5 seniors were honored Saturday night at the Arc, as the volleyball team fell to Missouri Valley Conference leader Illinois State, 3-1. Sophomore Brittany Anderson tallied a double-double with 34 assists and 12 digs. She now sits 40 assists away from Valpo's single-season top 10. The volleyball team will be back in action Friday night at Missouri State, first serve at 7 p.m. Men's basketball started their 2018-2019 season on Tuesday evening with a 121-65 win over Concordia University, Chicago. This marks the seventh consecutive win of a season for Valpo. Freshman Javon Freeman led the Crusaders with 22 points, the highest from a freshman in 20 years. Valpo will be away for their next series of games as they participate in the Myrtle Beach Invitational this weekend. Thanksgiving break will be the next time the men make it back to the Arc for a matchup with SIUE on November 21st at 7 p.m. The women's basketball team opened up their 2018-2019 campaign under new head coach Mary Evans Wednesday night. The Crusaders traveled to UIC where they fell 75-65. Senior Meredith Hamlet led the team with 19 points. The team opened up their home slate of their Sunday afternoon at the Arc. The Crusaders fell to North Dakota in a 65-56 loss. Shea Frederick, freshman, reached double figures with 11 points in her first game at the Arc. The team will play again Wednesday night, tip-off at 7 p.m. versus Illinois.
Thanks, Katie. After the break, Blake will have a final look at the weather.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If Daniel won't change your mind, baby,
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
And a very chilly 7-day in store. The coldest of them being tomorrow, high of 29 degrees, get down to 19 going into Wednesday morning. Beyond that, we warm up a bit, but still sloppy rain, snow mixes, and all in all, a very cold, much colder than average, and no end to this horribly cold weather in sight.
Well, definitely bundle up tomorrow. Thank you to all who are watching, and thanks to Blake, Heather, and I. We will see you all when we come back from Thanksgiving break in just about 2 weeks.